20.3 Evolution and Classification of Mammals. Lesson Objectives. Describe the Therapsid ancestors of mammals. Outline the evolution of monotreme, marsupial, and placental mammals. Summarize the evolution of modern mammals. Contrast traditional and phylogenetic classifications of mammals. Vocabulary. Therapsid. Introduction. Which mammalian trait evolved first? What was the first mammal like? When did the earliest mammal live? Detailed answers to these questions are still in dispute. However, scientists generally agree on the major events in the evolution of mammals. Mammalian Ancestors. Ancestors of mammals evolved close to 300 million years ago. They are amniotes called synapsids. The stages of evolution from synapsids to mammals are described below. Pelycosaurs. Synapsids called Pelycosaurs became the most common land vertebrates during the first half of the Permian period. A Pelycosaur genus called Dimetrodon had sprawling legs and walked like a lizard. It also had a fairly small brain. However, it had started to develop some of the traits of mammals. For example, it had teeth of different types. Therapsids. Some plesiosaurs gave rise to a group of animals called therapsids. The earliest therapsids lived about 260 million years ago. At first, the therapsids looked a lot like Dimetrodon, but after a while, they could easily be mistaken for mammals. They evolved a number of mammalian traits, such as legs positioned under the body instead of along the sides. Therapsids became the most common and diverse land vertebrates during the second half of the Permian period. The Permian period ended about 250 million years ago with a mass extinction. Most therapsids went extinct. Their niches were taken over by sauropsids. These were the amniotes that evolved into dinosaurs, reptiles, and birds. Not all therapsids went extinct, however. The few that remained no longer had to compete with many other therapsids. Some of them eventually evolved into mammals. Cynodonts. The surviving therapsids were small animals. Some of the most successful were the cynodonts. They flourished worldwide during the first half of the Triassic period. Some of them ate insects and were nocturnal or active at night. Being nocturnal may have helped save them from extinction. Why? A nocturnal niche was one of the few niches that dinosaurs did not take over in the Triassic period. Cynodonts became more mammal-like as they continued to evolve. Some of their mammalian traits may have been adaptations to their nocturnal niche. For example, the ability to regulate body temperature might have been selected because it would allow nocturnal animals to remain active in the cool of the night. A good sense of hearing might have been selected because it would be more useful than good vision when hunting in the dark. By the end of the Triassic period, cynodonts had become even smaller in size. They also had evolved many mammalian traits. For example, they had 4 different types of teeth, a relatively large brain, 3 tiny bones in the middle ear, a diaphragm for breathing, endothermy, lactation, hair. Cynodonts probably gave rise to mammals about 200 million years ago. However, they are not considered to be mammals themselves. In fact, competition with early mammals may have led to their extinction. They went extinct sometime during the Jurassic or Cretaceous period. Evolution of early mammals. The earliest mammals evolved from cynodonts, but the evolution of mammals didn't end there. Mammals continued to evolve. Monotreme mammals probably split off from other mammals first. They were followed by marsupials. Placental mammals probably evolved last. Evolution of monotremes. The first monotremes may have evolved about 150 million years ago. Early monotreme fossils have been found in Australia. An example is a genus called Strepodon. It may have been the ancestor of the platypus. Early monotremes retained some of the traits of their therapsid ancestors. For example, they laid eggs and had a cloaca. These traits are still found in modern monotremes. Evolution of marsupials. The first marsupials may have evolved about 130 million years ago. One of the earliest was the extinct genus Cynodonts. A fossil of this mammal has been identified. It is a remarkable fossil find. It represents a nearly complete animal. Even tufts of hair and imprints of soft tissues were preserved. Cynodonts was about 15 centimeters, or 6 inches, long. Its limb structure suggests that it was a climbing animal. It could escape from predators by climbing into trees. It probably lived on a diet of insects and worms. Evolution of placental mammals. The earliest placental mammals may have evolved about 110 million years ago. The ancestor of placental mammals may be the extinct genus Eomea. Fossils of Eomea have been found in what is now China. It was only about 10 centimeters long. It was a tree climber and probably ate insects and worms. Eomea had several traits of placental mammals. The placental mammal descendants of Eomea were generally more successful than marsupials and monotremes. On most continents, placental mammals became the dominant mammals, while marsupials and monotremes died out. Marsupials remained the most common and diverse mammals in Australia. The reason for their success there is not yet resolved. Evolution of modern mammals. The Cretaceous period ended with another mass extinction. This occurred 65 million years ago. All the dinosaurs went extinct at that time. Did the extinction of the dinosaurs allow mammals to take over? Traditional view. Scientists have long assumed that the extinction of the dinosaurs opened up many niches for mammals to exploit. Presumably, this led to an explosion of new species of mammals early in Cenozoic era. Few mammalian fossils from the early Cenozoic have been found to support this theory. Even so, it was still widely accepted until recently. View from the Mammalian Supertree. In 2007, an international team of scientists compared the DNA of almost all known species of living mammals. They used the data to create a supertree of mammalian evolution. The supertree shows the placental mammals started to diversify as early as 95 million years ago. What explains the diversification of mammals long before dinosaurs went extinct? What else was happening at that time? One change was a drop in Earth's temperature. This may have favored endothermic mammals over ectothermic dinosaurs. Flowering plants were also spreading at that time. They may have provided new and plentiful foods for small mammals or their insect prey. The supertree also shows that another major diversification of mammals occurred about 50 million years ago. Again, worldwide climate change may have been one reason. This time, Earth's temperature rose. The warmer temperature led to a greater diversity of plants. This would have meant more food for mammals or their prey. Classification of placental mammals. Traditional classifications of mammals are based on similarities in structure and function. Increasingly, mammals are being classified on the basis of molecular similarities. Traditional classification. The most widely accepted traditional classification of mammals divides living placental mammals into 17 orders. This classification of mammals was widely accepted for more than 50 years. Placental mammals are still commonly placed in these orders. However, this classification is not very useful for studies of mammalian evolution. That's because it groups together some mammals that do not seem to be closely related by descent from a recent common ancestor. Phylogenetic Classification. The Mammalian Supertree classifies placental mammals phylogenetically. It groups together mammals that are closely related because they share a recent common ancestor. These groups are not necessarily the same as the traditional groups based on structure and function. The Supertree classification places placental mammals in 4 superorders. The 4 superorders and some of the mammals in them are Afrotheria, aardvarks, elephants, manatees; Cynartha, anteaters, sloths, armadillos; Laracetheria, bats, whales, hoofed mammals, carnivores; Supraprimates, primates, rabbits, rodents. All 4 superorders appear to have become distinct from one another between 85 and 105 million years ago. The exact relationships among the superorders are still not clear. Revisions in this classification of mammals may occur as new data become available. Lesson summary. Amniotes called synapsids were the ancestors of mammals. Synapsids named Pelycosaurus had some of the traits of mammals by 275 million years ago. Some of them evolved into Therapsids, which became widespread during the Permian period. The few Therapids that survived the Triassic takeover were small arboreal insect eaters. They were also nocturnal. Being active at night may explain why they survived and evolved still more mammalian traits. Monotremes evolved about 150 million years ago. Like modern monotremes, they had a cloaca and laid eggs. Marsupials evolved about 130 million years ago. They were very small and ate insects and worms. Placental mammals evolved about 110 million years ago. They were also small and climbed trees. Placental mammals became the dominant land mammals. Most marsupials and monotremes died out except in Australia. Mammals used to be classified on the basis of similarities in structure and function into 17 different orders. Recently, DNA analysis have shown that the traditional orders include mammals that are not closely related. Phylogenetic classification, based on DNA data, groups placental mammals in 4 superorders. Superorders appear to have become distinct from each other 85 to 105 million years ago.